The Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry today endorsed an earlier statement by the umbrella private sector body in calling on all parliamentary stakeholders to support the passage of the Guarantee of Loans, Public Corporations and Companies Act and the Hydroelectric Power Amendment Bill 2013. Passage of these two pieces of legislation in the National Assembly on Thursday is seen as key for the government to convince the financial backers of the Amaila Falls Hydro Project to put in their money. The government has been saying that Amaila will produce double the amount of electricity currently being produced, make cheap, reliable energy available for businesses and potential investors, and for the poor and vulnerable, a lower electricity rate. But civil society activist Raymond Gaskin disagrees, saying that electricity rates could eventually go up.
As a general rule, hydro is a good thing, as a general rule. And a lot of countries do it. But not at 2.2 billion US. For 165 megawatts, if you could get 165 megawatts at the Brazilians for about 300 and something million US, I think that's a good deal. I'd be willing to support something like that. But I won't support this lawlessness that's going on here for 2.2 billion for something that there's no bidding, there's no competitive bidding. But at 300 something million US, I think it's something we should look at, but not at 2.2 billion, because what is going to happen at 2.2 billion US? Rates will have to go up. Rates will have to go up. I can say it without any fear of contradiction.
And then there's the concern that the weather pattern could bring along droughts that would disrupt power generation.
The contract says you can have outage, and this project will not function if there's insufficient water flows. Anybody knows what the water will flow in 20 years at Kurubrang? I would like to see that person who can tell me that he knows how much water will flow at Kurubrang within 20 years to run this thing.
Gaskin said the manner in which the project was conceptualized was not the best way to go, since it lacked transparency.
All of it is wrong. There's nothing right about this deal that is being structured. And there's no guaranteed flow of electricity from Amaila if it was ever to be built. I see in one of the contracts, they say for maintenance they could close down for 30 months, 30 days at a time, 720 hours. When you talk about real blackout, of course they call it outage. Outage for maintenance, 30 days in a row, 720 hours. It's in this big confidential contract that nobody has seen. Listen to me, this project got too much secrecy about it. And this is something, since it involves all the taxpayers, because we have to pay for it, and we're consumers too, this thing should be debated openly, and we should see all the documentation, be able to read it. But when you get to read it, if you get a chance, it is bad news. It's a very bad deal. We should not go with it.
The civil society activist is of the opinion that all the documents related to the project should be put out in the open, and the government should not hide behind the excuse that the project is in the negotiation stage and documents have to remain confidential. In any case, Gaskin argues that the government should start back from scratch.